everyone's Chuck, or as you may know me, The Oldest Gamer. It's the name of the channel that you're watching this on. I'm currently driving south for the Free Play Florida convention in Lakeland, Florida. This used to be in Orlando, but they moved it further south to Lakeland, which is great. I have not been to this version of the convention before. They did it last year and I didn't go. I don't remember why I didn't go, I just didn't go. Probably because they moved it to Lakeland. But yeah, they're going to have video games, they're going to have pinball, they're going to have retro consoles and vendors and stuff, celebrities and whatnot. The one thing I'm going to be curious about, and this is a thing at all conventions but I never pay attention to, is that they have guests who are YouTubers, and I don't understand how that works. Like, what do you do as a guest? I'm never going to hit that level of fame to where I'm going to be a guest at a video game convention, but I am curious as to what that entails. I would like to see that. So, got some stops to make at some game stores and some places like that. I'm looking for something. I don't know. I feel like making one last purchase before everything goes to hell. You know, I've got that, let's just get one more thing and then that's it. You know, hunker down and see what the hell happens. But maybe a cool custom console of some kind or some retro knockoff thing. Maybe just like one thing I could do a video on, like, hey, this is new to me, let me check it out. That would be interesting. Maybe like a console that I've never owned. If I could find like a decently priced Sega Saturn maybe, or a TurboGrafx, or you know, just something a little less common that I just don't have access to or history with. Just something fun. I'm still on the hunt for about 52 more Xbox 360 retail releases, and then that collection will be done. You know, this has been a year. God, it's been a year. This will sort of be a nice way to end the year. Just a hopefully relaxing video game convention. Everything slows down after this, and it's the holidays. So let's get the fun over with.
My first stop was at a 3-story antique mall called Marketplace at Rivertown. I forgot to film the outside, but you get the idea. They have this kind of stuff everywhere. A whole bunch of electronics, but no hidden game consoles in here. No sneaky 3DOs or CDIs hiding amongst the old receivers and CD changers. This better not awaken anything in me. Oh, yo, check out this sick wizard. Hey, it's a cool vintage little pinball type machine. And a sneering Frank Sinatra bust if you're into that. It's Sting. Wait, what? Conan O'Brien? Why is there a Conan O'Brien mug here? Why is there a Conan O'Brien mug? I spotted this electronic quarterback vintage handheld on my way out. I'm glad I picked one up recently for way less than this. $56, my dude, that is too much money. Quick visit to Cybertron Video Games, where I picked up a few more Xbox games that I needed. They had some others that I needed, but they were priced more than market value, so I passed on those for now. Over in the glass case, oh boy, a boxed Sega Saturn, here we go. $350. No, that's too much. I can't pull the trigger just yet. Oh wait, here's a naked Sega Saturn for only $170. No, not yet. Too soon. But if I strike out at the convention, I still pass back by here on my way home, so we'll see. Now over at Davy's Toys, there's always lots of cool little things inside, but I did see this Odyssey 2 collection that was tempting. However, I know I would never actually use any of it. Next to that was this carrying case filled with TRS-80 color computer cartridges and cassettes, which I was definitely tempted by because I still have my old color computer, but no, I feel like something better is still going to be out there somewhere. There's always a lot to look through here at the Coop in Oviedo, Florida. I found one of the most me things imaginable inside, this Here's Boomer lunchbox thermos. I think about this forgotten show a lot for some reason, mainly how this specific type of dog was everywhere in the 1980s and then suddenly vanished from the planet, and I always call it a boomer dog. Where'd this dog go?
And just when you think he's here for good, that's when he goes away. 'Cause he's boomer, he's never gonna settle down, never gonna settle. He's boomer, wandering from town to town.
Over at Orange Tree Antique Mall now, and I love this place. Inside one of the cases is this full Virtual Boy setup, which apparently came from Stone Age Gamer, a brand or website that I've heard of at least. And it seems to be cheaper here over what they're selling similar models for on their website, so hey, come get you a Virtual Boy. Or this Super Nintendo. Or maybe this giant Oreo cookie. Here's a pretty sick mask, simply called The Beast on the tag. It looks similar to the creature in Big Trouble in Little China, but not exactly. I don't know if this is a prop from something or just a custom job, but it's still pretty cool nonetheless. Then up here, check them out, 80s Tomy robots. Rad. Way too expensive for me to get, but rad. Finally, in another case was this vintage Godzilla game by Mattel, which I desperately wanted, but $160, I'm gonna pass on that for now. I know, I said I would buy a big dumb thing, but it needs to be something that I will use and not just something that goes on a shelf. Finally made it down to Lakeland, no thanks to Interstate 4, and my first stop is this nondescript place called Antique Mall. Signs on the door tell people to stop ramming it with their carts and scooters and just what the hell goes on in this place? Well, I don't know about all that, but I will tell you about this place, which is pretty interesting. Near the front of the store is this little break room, and parked inside is Rob Zombie's Dragula car from Halloween Horror Nights 30 at Universal Studios Orlando. And that's when I realized what this place was. At least a third of the space inside this huge location is dedicated to discarded props, signage, and set dressings from the Disney and Universal theme parks. Lots of Halloween Horror Nights stuff, Mardi Gras, Haunted Mansion, Shrek 4D, all kinds of closed or remodeled attractions live on here in one form or another. It was impossible to film it all, but I cannot stress enough how cool all of it was to look through. It's too expensive for me to own any of it, but if you're a wealthy theme park freak, this is where you should be shopping. I realize now that this place is pretty well known to pop culture fans in the area, and it became obvious when I was trying to identify this dinosaur character, only to find out that it seems to be a very popular selfie spot. Turns out it's the mascot for a chocolate factory in Orlando, and I learn something new every day. But anyway, there were plenty of other oddities here too, like this signage for Akron milk. Akron pure milk, it just rolls off the tongue. Someone repurposed this traffic light to show off their favorite things, which appears to include Batman and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The picture doesn't do the size of this thing justice, and I'm not sure why I switched to photos instead of video for much of this visit. I think it was because it was so crowded in here, but this vintage rollerball thing is easily 5 feet tall. It must have been some kind of boardwalk game or maybe something from a carnival. It's very cool. Here's a spooky Halloween colored vintage adding machine from Sears, ooh, and a coin sorting machine from 200 years ago. Some sexy frog statues if you are into that. I am not into that at all. Nope. There were a couple of video game related things in here, like this original Xbox for $130, which is way too much for an original Xbox. I mean, it doesn't appear to even be modded or anything. It does have the DVD dongle attached to it, so I guess that's something. I remember being given this as a gift when I was a kid, but I did not understand how acrylic paint worked and therefore never did anything with it. I wonder what happened to mine. Is this one mine? Is this my childhood Jabba the Hutt? Some Godzilla figures here. Elsewhere, I found some old school Godzilla soundtracks on vinyl. I almost pulled the trigger on those, but $50, that's a lot. Cool robot phone. Cool spot phone. Here's an autographed Richard Kiel photo from the Twilight Zone, that's pretty neat. Some tempting lunchboxes here, like this Disco Fever one, and you have no idea how close I was to buying this stupid thing. Metrics, you guys. Metrics! How is this in such good condition when the kid who owned it had to have been shoved into a locker every day of his life? And then there was this. This Batman Mountain Dew container is the most hilariously frightening promotional item I think I have ever seen. I would love to own it, except I would never be able to look at it because I cannot stop laughing whenever I see it. Look at it, it's absurd. What the hell were we doing? And that's going to be it for the pre-show shopping. It's time to head over to the Civic Center Hotel and get the lay of the land. Free play kicks off tomorrow, and so I will see you next time to take you all around the show floor. There's a lot to discuss. I will see you in the next episode. Take care, everyone.
'Cause he's blue.